Hello and welcome to episode. What did we go? Was it 1,300,000 last? So
I don't remember.
A, I love the stupid question last week. B, Watts, you had the only correct answer. 4, the rest of you guys are off my list. You make poor
I don't
murder
even
buddies.
remember what I said.
Wow, he committed murder.
I wasn't there.
I'm exempt.
I don't remember how you guys brought it up, but somehow I was appearing at your front step, escorted by the police.
Yeah.
I flipped it.
Yeah.
And Watts said right away he was with me last night. Sets the alibi early and definitively.
I like though that we found out
he was with me last night at 4 p.m. to about 7.
If you watched last week, we didn't know what he did, and like that was part of the argument from folks like I think myself and others, like why you would not just be like, no, yeah, we were hanging out.
Oh, we know.
He literally just said it was murder. If you were paying close attention to today's podcast. So Watts, I wish you the best of luck on your Briar adventures.
I think it does matter who did he murder, because there are some people I'd be like, nah, you're on your own, man. Then there's other people who'll be like, he was totally with me.
Oh, that's true.
I am, for the most part, anti-murder, just for the record.
I'm like 99%.
Yeah.
I think Briar would be a just cause murder. I think so.
Like I do have a cause, or I did it because just cause.
A just cause.
I do have a question for TV. TV, when you leave a party, do you prefer like to go around the entire party and say your goodbyes, or do you like the old like Irish goodbye and just like disappear?
Oh, I peace.
Just peace out.
Usually it's like I'll say goodbye to the host so they know,
right?
You know, and then you're gone.
Yeah.
You could do a little at the door. You could do a little bye, guys.
And
then if they're paying attention, they're paying attention. If not, that's their fault.
Yeah.
The big goodbye.
Yeah, just a bye, guys. Little grand out. Goodbye.
I'm a huge
waiting
fan
for the
of
Briar interjection now about how this relates to Briar's life and what he did recently.
No. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of like the Irish goodbye. I don't know. Are you supposed to say Irish goodbye? Is that like
racist?
I don't know.
You can't appropriate my heritage.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that anymore. I don't know.
If not.
But like
I think it's fair game.
The just dip. Like I'm just gonna leave this party. I'm a big fan, but my wife likes to do like say goodbye to everybody, which I find extraordinary.
So do you say I'll go warm up the car, like even if it's the middle of summer?
No, because I'll be out there like sitting by myself for an hour and a half.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah. So I gotta try and hurry this process up if my wife's gonna do it.
It does change when you have a kid sometimes, because you're like, oh, we got to go say. Depends what event it is. Like, we got to go say goodbye to the grandparents. You got to say goodbye. Like, if it's a family thing, then you got to go.
Family thing.
But and it also depends how much alcohol is involved, because if everyone's plastered, you could smoke bomb. You just get out of there, because no one's going to remember.
Smoke
like
bomb.
Well, also, and some people get real chatty when they've had some to drink. So what you think is going to be a quick goodbye might end up being another 15-minute conversation.
This happened recently with me, actually. I went to a friend's birthday party. It was at a place where there's literally only alcohol. There's no food. You can order food. You can like go pick up food, but they just have taps.
I'm sorry. Can we pause here?
Yes.
They had a party at their house.
No.
Oh, okay.
You just, you get the card and then there's just taps on the wall and you just pour whatever you want.
Okay.
And they don't have any food. So we were getting ready to go and there was some guy I didn't know at all. We were getting ready to leave and I started talking to him about Elden Ring. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I just play video games. And he's like, yeah, I'm playing Elden Ring right now. I'm like, oh, Elden Ring is really great, isn't it? We should play Elden Ring sometime. So I'm just blabbering about Night Rain for like 20 minutes as we were leaving.
This dude's wife is waiting in the car.
What happened? I was talking about Elden Ring. I think I only talked about Night Rain that whole time to like 4 different people. It was me going, Night Rain is really fun,
It's like that.
What's just going around going, you like Night Rain? You're like, no, it walks off.
It's that meme. It's the meme of the girl standing with the back to the wall, and the other girl's got the tuba like thing over her face. It's like Night Rain.
You been playing Night Rain? It just came out. like a week ago.
Yeah.
It's the hot news.
There is a specific type of gamer, right, that only wants to talk about video games. Do you know what I mean? It's like they don't have any other
most
thing.
of them are here.
Yeah,
I don't have any other thing.
No?
It's true. I really don't.
Like at a party, it's like I could talk to you about video games for, let's say, 15 minutes. But after that, I'm ready to move on. What's next? What's the next conversation, right?
Briar's got a graveyard of hobbies though. He's got
that's right.
Yeah.
He's got fly fishing.
I can talk to you about video games or my cat. All right, you have two choices. That's all I got.
So there is one small exception to this, depending on your strategy, because depending on the vibe of the party. See, I like to have that last, like, all right, well, I guess I'm going, but it's because you're searching for the after party. You don't want to miss the after party,
That's why
that
Fran
will happen.
ditched us at Dick's.
Yes.
He was looking for the after party.
We know Fran likes a good after party.
I'm like a hard no on after parties, dude. I'm too old.
That's true. But you'll miss it if you're like, yeah, I'm just out, and then you'll hear like it's every once in a while. But that's sort of the gamble you have to take.
Sure.
You might get stuck talking to somebody you don't want to, but you might someone's like, oh, we're doing an after party, or we're going to the karaoke, stuff like that.
You're such an
I'm too
adventurous
old for after
spirit,
parties.
Fran. I envy
Fran
you.
is adventurous. Yeah, I'm like, I want to go home, get into my pajamas.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
more
not
that, like once I'm wound up, then I'm like I'm good to go.
Talk to my cat
So
about
I'm
Night Rain.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you going home? I'm about to go play Night Rain. That's actually the night that me, Fran, and Myelin played Night Rain.
Oh, you came
As
back.
you may have noticed, I may have been a little intoxicated.
That
right.
was a strawberry
remember
margarita
this
night,
now.
wasn't it?
That was a different night.
It was-
Listen, chat is giving me an alcohol problem. Let's not talk about it.
Oh boy.
I have never seen Watts made
think they'd been in my
worst
chat then.
calls in Night Rain any other time. But nearly every call was like, no, we can make that. We're all dead. We're standing in their brain.
It's true. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was fun though.
It was
Real
very fun. I had a blast.
So the big news, obviously, this week, Sagat coming to Street Fighter 6. Obviously.
That's true.
Everybody's very excited, as well as TV mentioned right before the podcast started, so I had to go watch the trailer. The swimsuit costume are coming to Street Fighter 6.
Swimsuit skins
Now, they're
coming to
all
Street
great,
Fighter.
but did you see Aki?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
She looks so good.
I almost thought that was a new character at first. Like she looked so different.
She looked incredible.
Yeah. I was a little pissed they
Gotta
didn't
play
show
Aki.
Ryu. I'm looking for see what is he gonna wear bikini briefs? Is he gonna do like long
Maybe
got
he's
his
not getting
photo.
one, Briar. Maybe he's not getting one.
What? But
He's not
my
getting
boy.
a costume for. Nope.
Maybe he'll do like the old school, like the 1920s male swimsuit.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Like the straps here, yeah.
I'm trying
have
to
them
find
in
some
Claire
video
Obscure.
evidence of this. Where do I
Horizontal
find this
stripes?
video evidence?
It was on the Capcom Spotlight.
Yeah, Capcom had a spotlight.
Yeah.
That was exciting. What else did they do during this Capcom spotlight? Did they do any Resident Evil stuff?
Ooh, yeah, we could talk about it. We'll go from start to finish. So they started with Pragmata, which apparently is not Pragmata, it's Pragmata.
Mata?
So Pragmata.
Like,
Oh,
man,
they don't take the Japanese
from Boston?
pronunciation.
Pragmata. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably still just gonna say Pragmata because it feels weird.
Mata.
But they showed actual like gameplay and explained what's unique about it. And we kind of heard this from people who were at Summer Games Fest, but it was nice to actually see it. So this is the game where you are in like a space outfit and you've got like an android girl on your back. So it's that game.
Okay.
So you will come across enemies that have armor on them where your bullets cannot do anything to them. And she has to hack them before you can do damage. So the way that it's working is she's on your back and there's like a little mini puzzle that pops up where you have to like hack in this like, it's like a 3x3 square. And there'll be certain parts of the square that are lit up with like a blue arrow. And you have to go from square to square with your like one of your sticks going into squares to hack the enemy. Whilst at the same time, in a 3D like third person combat, dodging, blocking,
Yeah, like
while you're
combat doesn't
hacking.
stop while you're doing
It
this
doesn't
puzzle.
stop. Yeah, so you're fully engrossed in the action and having to dodge and all of that whilst you're also doing the hacking. So I think that's pretty cool. I was like, I'm into that. That's unique. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it does seem cool. I wonder if it will like hold up for like a full game. If it'll be like a unique twist at the beginning, but then you're like, I just want to shoot shit by the end, like get these puzzles out of my face, or if it'll just continue to be entertaining throughout the whole game. It's a really unique idea.
It's a really unique idea. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that.
No,
yeah, we've got a lot of brainless shooters out there, anyways. If that's your vibe,
true.
Yeah, if you love a brainless shooter,
if you're watching the video right now, Myelin is showing off the what it looks like specifically. They also do have
what button do you use to solve the puzzle? Like whilst you're still running and shooting?
Your cursor. So I think if you're using a controller, I would assume it's just one of the. It might be the D-pad.
Right stick? Oh, you think so?
It would have to be the D-pad, otherwise you couldn't control the
It might be the D-pad.
right?
But how could you move if you move your?
I think it's just gonna sound like it's pretty crazy.
I don't know. People played it at Summer Game Fest.
Saying that it's like a little mini puzzle during combat you have to try to solve.
Yeah,
I feel stressed out just watching it. Like time trial stuff always makes me feel like heightened blood pressure. You know.
Yeah.
The one where they're fighting two enemies is like, woo. Yeah, you have to like prioritize which one you're hacking to like take them out. Which one do you want to stop? I think it's really interesting. And everyone who tried it at Summer Game Fest was like, this is really fun.
Yeah, really I got like kind of really positive feedback from Summer Games Fest, which is good news.
Yeah.
It definitely upped my interest in this game, because before I heard about this mechanic, I was kind of like, I don't know, this doesn't really seem like it's going to be my vibe. But now I'm kind of more interested in it.
And there are different puzzles for like opening doors and stuff too. So they do have a variety of different puzzles that you can do for hacking. So yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys generally like puzzles in video games? Like, is that your jam?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you like them?
I do, but I can't do them because my brain melts and then I get sick and have to sit in a dark room for, a couple hours.
I like them in moderation,
Yeah.
If they're simple,
it depends on
then
the pacing.
Yeah. Like you mean like in like BioShock kind of like hacking something like that, Briar? Or
Yeah, whatever, like something like that, or like the key picking in Fallout, or even like in Tomb Raider, like environmental puzzles.
Key picking. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the
Zelda dungeons are good.
Yeah,
like mini games, really.
Yeah.
And that's there is some distinction, right? I like all of it, but I love environmental puzzles. Like, I mean, it can be a simple examples like in God of War, when just it's the way that it feels usually for me. So like tossing your shield up in a gate to like lock it in place and like freezing it or whatever it was. Usually when that feels satisfying, that's like game changing for me. I'm like, okay, I'm in, just because the way it feels, versus some puzzles are literally like, I was trying to remember, what was that one game that was like all puzzle stuff?
Scorn?
That is
Scorn?
No, it was before.
Blueprints.
It's way too vague right now.
Okay.
It'll come to me. That's way too vague for gaming. You're like, blueprints? Or like, no, I don't know. But some games are like so focused on it. So I like kind of an environmental puzzle.
I do too. I generally like Tomb Raider and God of War style things like that,
Zelda.
where you kind of like, Zelda kind of stuff. But sometimes they go too far. Do you guys remember like what were those big ancient beasts in Zelda Breath of the Wild that were roaming around?
Yeah.
There was like an elephant one that I just found to be like just annoying. Like it really was like this. It's like you had to like rotate these cylinders like almost while you're inside of it. It was like really weird. I don't know.
Huh.
Sometimes
I think I remember. Like you had to turn stuff upside down, and they love to do. And
do you guys remember like those old like King's Quest games that where the puzzles were like, you just basically had to like try everything, like combine this comb with this piece of gum and it'll unlock this magic book.
Yeah. Like Myst.
Yep.
And then, what you
yeah.
realized is they were kind of designed to get you, back then to like call a hotline where you could get like pay for real. You sort of questioned, you're like, why is this so like weird and tricky?
Not everything has gotten worse, right? Like some things have definitely gotten better. Like nobody's calling 1-900 numbers anymore to get game tips from their.
It's true. I mean, now they're just serving you 10 different ads from 10 different products at the same time on a website. Right. But that's soon to and is dying as we speak too. So it's going to be interesting to see how AI makes all that annoying as well.
The website's like overheat your phone. There's so much going on.
It's honestly, every time I run into those now, and I know all those websites are trying to survive, I'm just like, but have you looked at this? Like at some point you just have to, that's it. Like we lost this part of the game. And like, it's way easier said than done because you're talking about people's jobs. But like, it literally is like you're serving like a video overlay, a scrolling overlay, and another one that pop. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Like nobody is engaging with this. Anyway. That's a puzzle in itself. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Trying to figure out how to make money on the internet with a gaming website.
Yeah. Truth.
Next, we had the Street Fighter stuff.
Yes.
Briar.
Yes.
We got to see. Take us through that.
I mean, they showed off Sagat, which I don't even know. Do you say Sagat or do you say Sagat?
I always thought it was like Sagat, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
I always said Sagat, but I don't know what the proper is.
Yeah.
I'm still up in the air on how to say Ryu, honestly.
Zangief or Zangief is Zangief's the hard one. I don't know.
I just
what
go
is
with
that
Geef.
one?
Akuma, Akuma. All of it.
Yeah, all of
But
them.
see, then you get into legitimate like Japanese versus like it's okay or English.
But he's not even called that. He's not called Akuma in Japanese. He's called like I can't remember his name in Japanese.
It should be Akuma.
Let me.
Yeah.
No, he's got a totally different name. Goku.
Oh, his name's not Akuma.
No, I can't remember what it is.
I'll take
Either
a
way.
look.
So Sagat or Bob Saget.
So they showed him off in the World Tour.
His name is Golki.
Goki.
That's his name.
Oh, Goki-san.
So they showed off Sagat, but they showed him off in World Tour mode, so they didn't really show too much. Just like kind of like here's what he looks like. Here's a little bit of like the kind of this like how he's going to be introduced probably in World Tour mode. We'll probably get a gameplay trailer soon, but I think they announced him for August. I don't remember. August something. It's coming up soon. And then we got the trailers for some sneak peeks at the new
costumes.
The new costumes, swimsuit costumes. Not sure if they're going to be all the characters or just some of the characters. Hopefully they'll do all the characters.
It says August 5th.
5th. There you go. So that's right around the corner. But yeah, I was excited. New characters. They're just plugging away, adding new characters to Street Fighter 6, and they're doing a great job, I think.
Seems like it. Yeah. I'm excited at what they're going to do with Ingrid.
Yeah.
Because she looks very different.
Yeah.
And she was also hated.
Yeah. She was in what? Fighters Mega Mix? No, that's not right.
She was in one of the
less liked Capcom fighting games. I can't remember what it was. During the dark age of Capcom when they just couldn't get anything
Capcom's
right.
dark age.
Yeah.
Next up was Resident Evil. We got to take a look at Resident Evil 9. We are going back to Raccoon City. That's exciting.
Oh,
that is kind of exciting.
It is actually. I'm like, yeah, it is actually exciting. Because this is obviously like with Raccoon City, they set off a freaking nuke in Raccoon City to get rid of all of the monsters, zombies, whatever, all of them. And so they were like, even in the little like interviews that they were doing, they were saying, we didn't think we could go back to Raccoon City, but they found a way to kind of make it work. Then they also talked about the main character, because the main character is Grace Ashcroft, who is the daughter of a character that died in a previous Resident Evil.
Spoilers.
Well, gotta go play it, Briar. If you haven't, I don't know when that must have been. That's got to be years ago. This is 30th anniversary next year. 30.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
So amazing.
It's crazy. So they were saying that they wanted to pick they're making this like super horror, like scary Resident Evil, and they were thinking about picking Leon for it, but they're like, it's kind of hard to do horror around him because he's so like he's been around all of this for so long and he's so well trained that if something just like falls over, he's not gonna go, "What was that?"
So no, he's gonna shoot first and ask questions.
Yeah,
later.
he's gonna he's gonna go running towards it and kick down the door and yeah. So they picked a character who, they said here she's introverted and easily scared. So I was like, that's interesting. They picked a character but she is an FBI agent, so she's really well versed with guns and how to handle them, and she is good under pressure, but she is like someone who will scare easily. So that was cool. And then
is
they
it
also
fair to say she's easily scared when there's like supernatural shit going on? Like I think everyone's
normally scared. She's got a normal fear response to crazy shit.
That's the truth.
They're
but
saying,
Leon's seen it all, you know?
I was saying, they said in this interview that Leon wouldn't be scared by a bucket dropping, but she would hear a bucket drop and be scared. Of course, they'll both be like unnerved by the scary, weird things, but she can maybe be a little more unnerved by non-scary things. They also showed off first person and third person because you're going to be able to play the game in first person or third person. Yeah, and they both look great.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, it's got to be very hard to do, make everything, especially for a horror game where you want all the angles to be predictable so the scares read, you know? So it's going to be really interesting.
It's going to be interesting, yeah.
I assume the third person is like a free-flowing camera though, right?
Yeah.
It's not locked in? Yeah.
No, it's over the shoulder. I think they're going to show it in the gameplay that you're showing soon because they're talking about the first person versus third person.
The lighting looks great.
The lighting does look really good.
It looks really good. It does look scary.
It looks
fuck out of me already.
Dude, the way that they were talking, they were like talking about action versus scary, and the way they're talking about Resident Evil 9 is like, this is a scary game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play it, but I'm a little concerned.
Me too.
Do you think it's more scary or less scary in first person? Like, what is your preference to reduce the scare
I think
factor?
first person makes things more scary.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is, because it's almost through your eyes, and like you feel like you can only see what they see.
Yeah, you're more
there. Yeah, where every time you're in third person, it's more like, well, I can see if there's a hand on the back of my character's neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell the difference. So
I think I would want to play in third person just because when I think of Resident Evil for me, I think of third person. So I think I'd like to go back to a third person Resident Evil.
I agree.
Yeah. But it looks good. Looks scary.
So did they say anything about this world? Because I see pictures of it and it looks like, oh, this is Raccoon City, clearly bombed out. But there's other sections that looks like maybe an intact mansion, an intact laboratory.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They did say that they have more developer interviews like on their website that couldn't fit into the presentation. So they might go into that a bit more there, maybe.
They got some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, February 27th.
Yeah, that's a save the date for me. I'm looking forward to this. I really think Capcom, we've mentioned this before, but they've been hitting it out of the park lately. And Resident Evil is definitely on the list of like things that are been really fantastic.
You don't already have that date on your calendar?
I'm gonna save the date. I'm gonna put a little circle around it. Why? What else comes out?
Wow, you don't have that already? I mean, February 27th. Well established. Important day. It's my birthday.
Oh.
I say it every year because
he's like, it's not a leap year day. It's not. He's going to list his head.
From Destiny to like probably Elden Ring. There's always been so many games like are always coming out around that time of year. So I'm always like, oh, that one's on my birthday. This is exactly on it though. So it's a nice treat for me.
Yeah, that's happy birthday.
I think they did that on purpose. Yeah, right.
But based on history, I mean, you can plan there will be like 3 other games around then that are going to interfere with this.
Yeah, which is crazy because that used to be like one of the dead parts of the year, right? And now it's like really one of the busiest parts.
Yeah.
Which is great, though. Honestly, I much prefer
it's too
big
much
winter game releases than big summer game releases.
Yeah.
After Resident Evil was Monster Hunty. Big Monster Hunty news. Huge news. This was going over Title Update 2 that launches June 30th, so next Monday. Big update. They had a whole trailer. They had like 20 minutes of them talking about this. So they are bringing in a new monster. Well, is a returning monster, but he hasn't been in the game in a very long time. And he's also a fan favorite and was the flagship of Monster Hunter Tri. And that is Lagiacrus, which is the blue dragon. He goes underwater. He's got lightning. And he was actually a part of when they had underwater combat. So I think they were always struggling, like, how do we bring him back and have him not be underwater? And they've done a really cool thing where you will be fighting him with your weapon on outside of the water. But they're introducing a whole new section of the Scarlet Forest where you will be kind of fighting him underwater. So you're not going to be pulling out your weapon like you did in the Monster Hunter that had underwater combat, but you can like dodge moves in there. You can grapple things on top of him. You can grapple to him. Like there's a bunch of things that you can do underwater with him, because like a big part of what he does is he expands in like a really interesting way when he's swimming. So they wanted to kind of incorporate that because he was built as an underwater combat monster. So I'm really happy that they found a way to incorporate that, but still, bring him into the game. So he looks great.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had some of those Uthduna vibes, and then it looks like they're also doing Arc Tempered with it. It looks like this is the first time I've seen it. I'm watching Myelin's little video here.
Yeah. So they are also bringing in Arc Tempered Uthduna, which brings in the Gamma set of armor. So it will have like new skills on it, introduce a new skill potentially as well. And we got a surprise. We're getting another returning monster. The community calls him Steve. His name is Seregios. It's because no one knows how to say it. Seregios. He's coming back, and he's like a horny, shiny boy.
Phrasing.
He's a lot like Briar.
Variant. He's a lot like Briar. Yeah, he's horny and he's glazed.
Prefer my Briar's glazed on the devil's sausage,
Yes, that's what the devil's sausage is.
That's what it is. He's also a fan favorite. People really like him. So we're getting two new returning monsters with their armor set, with all the new weapons, new armor bonuses, new pendants being added to it that add new skills. And then in the trailer as well, I'll just go through what was in the trailer. They're doing a collab with Fender.
I was smirking at this while I was watching. I hadn't seen this.
Yeah, so they did an IRL collab with Fender for the 25th anniversary where they made a Rathalos guitar.
Yeah, that was
cool. Well, now they're doing it in game where there's going to be an event quest where you can get a guitar like emote in game. And they actually showed a little bit of the capture of how they were capturing it. So they had the guitar that they made in person and fully captured all of it. And then they had musicians from Fender come and show them how to play the Monster Hunter theme on the guitar and make sure that the fingers lined up with the capture properly. So it's actually playing the guitar.
They're playing the right notes.
They also showed the Palico capture. The Palico is doing air guitar. So they showed the person like going crazy on an air guitar.
Love it.
I will be doing that event 1,000%. Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah.
I was saying on the last collab with Street Fighter, I was like, yeah, I get it. And it is a good idea. It's easy for them. I'm like, man, then what about other collabs in the game from, just make cool stuff in the game. But then I kind of forgot about the in real life stuff. And I'm totally down for this idea. But I love
hold on. Weren't you anti-collabs, Fran? Like with the Star Wars? Star Wars Destiny, you were anti, weren't you?
Well, that's what I'm trying to establish.
Also, not to be things you like, collabs are okay.
I never said no. You're putting words in my mouth. I was saying for like them to do like Capcom games in particular. I'm like, there's all this cool stuff you could probably do in the game with that time. That being said, I was like, I didn't think about in real life collabs like putting Fender in the game. So yeah, really cool. I don't know. We'll run it back. It makes sense.
There's a ton of changes coming to the game. Like they're doing some pretty extensive passes of the weapons. So Hammer, Switch Axe, and Charge Blade are getting quite substantial changes to them. Just in terms of like how they're going to feel to play, adding moves to them, adding moves that go into different moves. So they should be pretty fun. And there's going to be another festival event. This one is like a summer one, and there's like Woodwoods doing stuff there, and there's going to be a new diva song that she sings, and there's going to be new all of that stuff. So there's a lot. Like the title updates can be kind of you can look at them and go, it's not actually that much. It's like 2 new monsters coming. But they add so many event quests and quality of life, and they add like new pendants and new decorations and all this stuff to the game that it can actually end up changing quite a lot of things of how you make builds and how you play. So there should be quite a lot of content here. And then we're going to be getting AT Uthduna, and then we're getting the collab. And then they did also confirm that Title Update 3 is coming at the end of September. But this is launching on Monday.
Right around the corner.
Can you tell me the gossip, the drama behind why it's sitting on overwhelmingly negative on Steam?
I can.
Oh boy.
It's got like 12,000 negative comments.
Yeah. Yeah. So on Steam, a big part of it is performance. Like there's some people that just straight up can't run the game. And
for which game? Sorry, I was taking a note.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, it's still Monster.
Yeah. So it's largely performance. Yep.
Was that like a recent update, or is this just like kind of like you haven't fixed it since day one, so we're angry?
I don't know what caused people to like all do it at the same time and have it go overwhelming and actually it could have been. So there was a post that was posted about from the Monster Hunter account that was explaining if you do this update, you have to go into your files and delete your shader cache to make sure that the game like redoes your shaders. Otherwise, your performance will be bad because the game will be trying to load shaders while you're playing. And we don't want it to do that because your performance is going to be really bad. So I know that was a big thing on Twitter because it was like, why do we have to go into the files and like delete things and stuff to get the game to run properly? Like you should just be doing that yourself. Every update, there should be something that updates that. So I think that might have been the thing that really pushed it. But it's largely performance, but it's also that Monster Hunter Wilds has removed a lot of friction from the game. So when you couple that with the performance issues, it's just a lot of people are just not super happy. You know, I've always said that Monster Hunter Wilds feels like it's lost a lot of the monster hunting simulator RPG feeling of the game, where you're preparing to go for a hunt and you're tracking down the monsters, and you really have to think about what the monster's weak to and what are they going to be doing? What do I need to bring with me? Also just with if we take World, which would also cut down a lot of that stuff. But if you take World, if you wanted to upgrade your mantle, which Wilds and World has both of those. If you wanted to upgrade your mantle, you would get a side quest that would lead, an optional quest that would lead to talking to an NPC, which would then give you another optional quest to upgrade the mantle or get this new mantle. In Monster Hunter Wilds, you don't have to get off the just mainline track to get everything. Whereas I'll give you some examples.
Really?
In previous Monster Hunters, you had to go and do optional quests to get more ingredients for your canteen. You had to do optional quests to unlock more things for your palico to do. You had to do it with mantles. You could do all of the optional quests and you would get rainbow pigment. There was just like a bunch of things that like really padded out the experience of things that you'd want to track down and do. Whereas in Wilds, it really is. If you just do the main story and do all the stuff that's laid out in front of you, you have all of the mantles. You have all of the palico stuff. You have all of that.
Sounds like my game because I never do the optional shit.
It's really like, it's a perfect Monster Hunter if you're like, I just want to jump in and experience like the story, and then I'll hop back in and do some new monsters, and like that's it. But if you really like,
that's a really big deviation from World, because I played World on stream and I just mainlined it, and then when we got to like a boss that was kicking my butt, everyone's like, oh, do this, do that. I was like, I haven't done anything. I've done no side quests. Like I don't have the tools to take this thing out. I better go do some. So that's obviously a huge deviation from
It is. Yeah, there's
I feel like they streamlined it too much. That's kind of
Oh,
what
they
I'm picking
streamlined it
up.
way too much. They really did. It was way too much. I think and it's really interesting, which I'm sure we'll talk about in more detail, but playing Death Stranding, I'm like, ah, this is what I loved in Monster Hunter. Prepping
I
before
said
I
the
go and
exact same
looking at
thing.
the path I'm
Yeah.
taking and the stuff I'm bringing and okay, I'm going to be in this kind of place, so I'm going to bring this and I'm like, imagine if Wilds, right? Cuz they have the weather system. Imagine if the inclement weather was like really dangerous and you're like, there's this monster I want to hunt in the inclemency, but when the inclemency happens, I get this status effect and I have to deal with this. So I've got to make sure I bring this with me. Maybe I want this kind of mantle because it's going to protect me from it. So yeah, it's missing a lot of the TLDR is that you don't feel like a monster hunter in this world hunting monsters. It kind
Yeah.
of feels like you're just, all right, load me up. Let's go hunt this thing. Boom, make everything you want. You also get everything really easily. Like you don't have to hunt a monster more than a couple times to get everything from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which for, the last
Mm.
the last what 25 years of Monster Hunt, it's been like, don't let the game know that you want a gem because you're not going to get it. You're going to have to hunt for like 15 Rathaloses to get one thing, and that doesn't really
I'll say I
exist anymore.
remember doing like full days where like you'd title the stream like, today we are farming this specific monster, going after these set pieces on the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stream ends when I get this gem.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, they've made it real. They've removed the friction. And the way that I always describe it is like if I'm trying to come into the door, you want the door to be like, well, hold on now, don't hold on, not yet. You got to go do this, you got to go do that. Whereas in Wilds, they're like, come on in. You want to take the couch with you on your way out? You need this. What do you need? It's very like
Yeah.
you don't have none of the game is
No pushback. Yeah.
pushing back on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need that. Games need friction. Games without
Mhm.
friction are like you can just throw them in the arcade and have people pay like a penny to play around. It feels like that.
Yeah, I like when a game pushes me around a little bit.
It's pretty crazy. This is like one of the biggest releases this year. Like, and the amount of hype behind it, and even like you were like counting down the days for this to come out. And it really didn't have like sticking power, you know?
It didn't have the sticking power, yeah, because you get everything. You go on the main line and you get absolutely everything, and you barely have to veer off to farm anything or do anything. The difficulty thing was an issue early on. I think they are getting to the point where they've kind of solved that. We'll see when the new monsters come out, actually. But the 8-star tempered monsters are pretty mean. They hurt a lot. They have a lot of health. Takes much longer, so they are quite challenging. But I mean, all of this, the foundation for Wilds is still incredible. The world is beautiful.
Yeah.
The combat is really fun. They just need to, with the expansion, they're just gonna have to add all of that stuff that really bulks it up, makes you want to stay in there forever.
Yeah.
Can I sidetrack this a second for a game that has also streamlined too much?
Yeah.
Fran might be interested in this. Fran, did you hear what Nintendo did to Mario Kart World?
Oh, I heard a little bit about this, but yeah, why don't you detail it?
It is like I'm actually probably going to put Mario Kart World down. This is the only reason I have Nintendo Switch 2 to play Mario Kart on stream to do like our little gambling session. And what was happening was, you know, it's an open world, but all the tracks are connected basically. So you can drive from one end to the other. And when you go online and you play an online game in there, what would be the Mario Kart 8 equivalent of just like an online match? There's obviously multiple like modes. There's one that's like battle mode where you just, you know, you're in a battle arena in Mario Kart and you fight other people. There's another one like there's a knockout tour, which you like race across the map and you got to go through checkpoints. And if you're in a certain position, you get knocked out. And then there's like the normal mode, which is like just called races. And what happens is if you're on Bowser's Castle, it gives you like 3 connected maps connected to Bowser's Castle, and you can choose from that, or you can choose random. And the thing is, if you choose random, the game bypasses what would normally happen is you got to drive from Bowser's Castle to Peach's Castle. And the drive there is incredibly boring. It is a straight line with 24 people just spamming like abilities. And then when you get to Peach's Castle, you get one lap and then the match is over. So what people were doing is they were selecting random, and then what that would do is it would just give you 3 laps of Peach's Castle like you're playing Mario Kart 8. So you got to actually experience the map. They patched it out. So if you click random, you have to do, it's going to pick a random map from the ones that are connected. So you have to go in a straight line. And like most lobbies, when I was playing online, out of 24 people, there would only be maybe 2 or 3 who were not picking random. So people just wanted to play the map by themselves.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's like, nope, you got to drive there. This is an open world game. You've got to go from point A to point B. Like, no bypassing it. They double down. Like, this is a game that I've felt like I don't want to play anymore because of a patch, which is kind of crazy. Especially considering I got a whole new console, but the most expensive game I don't want to play.
Yeah,
right.
True.
The most expensive game, honestly.
Oh, man,
right
hurts.
now.
Yeah, it's like I'd say overall, it's of course, it's a fairly fantastic Mario Kart world. But yeah, I'm never that surprised that Nintendo like there's just missing so many features and quality of life things. So none of it. I mean, the decision to change something surprises me. So yeah, I don't know why this was so important for them to work on.
It's so weird because they don't have another mode. They don't have another mode that is just race on the track that you select. And the thing is, I actually love the tracks are fucking really good. Like, I really like the tracks. I really like the grinding mechanics and the wall riding. Like, people are doing insane shit like to get world records with how they play the game. And it's super fun to do the tracks. The connection as an Australian often playing in like Japanese lobbies is so much better than Mario Kart. Yeah. I don't know what they did, but like when you actually aim stuff, you hit things and they slow down. Whereas like often when I play Mario Kart 8, there's like so much lag. Like I'll hit someone and they still somehow go faster than me. Like I don't know what's going on here. But so like a lot of the other parts of the game feel really bloody good. But I just want to play the maps. I want a mode where I can just do races around the map I selected and learn the shortcuts. Because that's a thing with like the big issue with doing this thing where you do 3 laps of just going in the straight line and you get 1 on the end. You don't really get to learn the maps and learn the shortcuts and learn like where to grind and where to cut away time and stuff like that, which is like the whole point of playing Mario Kart online.
That's a huge part of it, yeah.
But you can do it. You can do that on your own at time trials, I assume.
You can do it, right? Yeah. So I'm actually enjoying time travels more than online, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like that's weird. I had recently played in a tournament, and that was like where a lot of this came up. I'm like, dude, this is okay. I'm trying to get because we had specific maps that the teams wanted to do, so they had to communicate over Discord to like tons of teams, 24 unique players. Please make sure you're choosing the right map. But then there was like 1-minute intermissions and people are like stepping away. And then like that stupid randomizer would be on the wrong map. And then we'd have to like wait and do so the fact that there's no controls for the person who's doing a tournament to just like set stuff up for the maps is crazy.
Right.
And then you're like trying to describe to people like, okay, here's where it is in the world. It's in the upper left quadrant near this thing, just like because someone who doesn't know all the names of the maps and where they're at. It's just kind of crazy. And then I was reflecting as well. I'm like, how did this also launch without tournament options or otherwise of like, I just can't set like what items I want in the rounds and some more rule options. Like that should be standard especially for a game that took this long and is that expensive, so.
Yeah. You can't say this game was rushed out, but it kind of feels that way sometimes when you guys are talking about it. Like
it's just Nintendo, man.
Stuff is weird.
That first time meme? The guy getting hung.
Yeah.
It's like first time. It was like my 10th time, like reacting to Nintendo's choices and doing stuff like. I'm like, well, that's Nintendo,
such a
man.
Crazy idea when you see literal lobbies all selecting random to bypass a mechanic of the game, and then just they like double down on that and go, no, don't do that. Don't play the game that way.
That's
We want you to play
Usually
it
reminded
this
me of
way.
Bungie. Like they'd see how we were playing the game and then patch that out.
The customer is always right is not something they believe.
It's like the data interpretation. Hey, everyone's accidentally selecting random. That must mean they want the actual maps. Let's help them out. Anyway, there you go. Sidetrack.
I played something awesome. Have you guys seen that Ninja Gaiden Ragebound has a demo?
I played the demo, Briar. Did you play it?
Holy smokes, this demo is hot.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really?
So this game obviously it's a 2D side-scrolling kind of I would say ninja adventure. And it really super reminded me of like the old Ninja Gaiden games on the NES, but obviously updated, much better graphics, but it really got some beautiful artwork, beautiful animation. And it really surprised me that it does is it harnesses a sense of speed that the original Ninja Gaiden games did on the NES, where the most effective way to play these games is by rushing forward recklessly. And I love it.
Yeah.
Like it really captures that. Your character is very fast, you know, like you have
Kiddies look good.
What's that?
It's really, really good.
Can I play this on Switch too?
I don't know. I don't know if the demo I played this Steam demo. I don't know if the demo is available on other platforms.
But it's from the Blasphemous folks, right?
It is.
Oh, I was gonna say this looks like Blasphemous. Right. I get it now. I see.
Sweet.
You got like kind of your standard sword attack. You have this kind of like the demo is kind of weird. Is it does like you play a couple levels, like a couple sub levels out of the first level, and then a couple sub levels out of the third level. But it's enough to kind of give you like a taste of what the game offers. And you kind of have this like kind of over the head kind of scythe thing that kind of arcs almost like an axe in Castlevania. And then you have like a shuriken that goes forward, but you use up like kind of your power meter to use those. And then you can also charge up your sword attack. You can do that in two ways. Sometimes there's like these glowing enemies that appear on screen, and if you hit them, then you have like a charged up sword attack that can one-shot kill like armored enemies. Or you can stand still and charge up your sword by just holding the X button. And that creates this like really cool kind of like order in which you want to kill the enemies. Because like if you have like two armored enemies and then like a couple of regular enemies and then a couple of these glowing enemies, you got to kind of prioritize who you're going to kill and in which order. But you got to do it like that because it's all happening so fast that you just got to run around and do it. Yep. And then you also have this kind of like fun double jump where you have to hit an enemy projectile or like some kind of enemy to actually activate the double jump, which creates some like kind of fun platforming puzzles. And then it does this really cool thing where sometimes you find these little side puzzles where you kind of transfer into this like girl ghost where it's timed. Her health bar runs out quickly. And when her health bar runs out, like it just over time it runs out. And when her health bar runs out, she dies or you transfer back into your own body. So the whole key is to get through this little platforming area as fast as you can using her special abilities. It's really fun. And it's like, they're usually about 30 seconds long. And it's just this kind of like side puzzles, like platforming puzzles that you got to figure out as fast as you can. It's very fun. So far, this game is very impressive.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's hard too. Like the timed stuff, you gotta be fast. If you kind of mess up at any point, you gotta start again.
Yeah.
So it's not like a roguelite or anything. It's just like linear progression, or is it like not Metroidvania either? It's just kind of like linear progression.
Levels. Yeah.
Smash everything, kill the boss, move on.
Yeah, but it grades you at the end of every level, and it unlocks new items for you based on your grade. So it really incentivizes you to go back and kind of perfect your time and your score, and there's hidden items to find. So it incentivizes you to go back through levels and play them again to possibly
Is the
unlock some
grade
more items.
part of speed? Like, is it incentivizing like go quick as well?
I think it had speed. I think it had like enemies killed. Like it counts your combos. Like I can't remember.
It showed it earlier, and what it was like killing with a certain guillotine move or something. You have like a certain number of enemies.
Avoid getting hit. Kill enemies with guillotine. Oh, these are challenges as well.
Yeah, it's got time, how many kills,
max combat, right?
Yeah, so you got collectibles, like there's all sorts of things it's judging on. So like speedrunners, like it's gonna turn you into a speedrunner if you want to get like everything, right? Because you're gonna have to speedrun this each level, which is cool. Like it handles great, like it feels good and it looks good.
Does, yeah.
That's the old Ninja Gaiden game that you're showing now on the screen. That's the first one.
Wow.
The OG.
Hell yeah.
How times have changed.
How times have changed. Very cool.
But yeah, I was really impressed by the demo. This game comes out, I think, at the end of the month.
When's it come out? Yeah, right.
And this is the year of the Ninja, too.
Demo's still there. Yeah, so.
Yeah, the demo's still there. This is the year of the Ninja, so we got the Shinobi game coming next month. And then
Shinobi next month. Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 3D game coming at the end of the year.
Yep.
It's a good year for ninjas.
I know.
It's a good year for ninjas. It really is.
Warframe's got his update out yesterday. I think
wow, it's been a while since we got that Myelin Warframe update.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it next week. And
I was reflecting that it was like every week for a while. He's like, man, I'm playing so much Warframe.
And I still get people coming. Are you giving up on Warframe?
You quit another game.
I'm going back. I'm gonna play a bit more.
I still get that with Space Marine. People are like, you ever gonna go back to Space Marine?
Yeah.
Well, Space Marine's got an update today.
Yeah, they got an update. Yeah, so it's like their horde mode, right?
It's a horde mode. That's all I know. You don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, which I mean, I really wish it was there at launch. Cool, they got it now. But for me, that game, it's not the kind of game that you sit with for a year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I certainly didn't. I did everything that was doing that game, and I loved it. I thought it was a phenomenal game. But then it's so hard to like jump back into a game like that where the combat is so demanding, right? And you have to be really rehearsed to do it at the higher difficulties. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'll probably get around to trying it out. But I'll probably watch some of my. Is this lame? I'll probably go back and watch some of my own tutorials before I do it, just to remind myself what to do.
The amount of times when I was making lore videos, I would have to rewatch one of my old lore videos to remember what the frick I said and what was happening, and then like do it again. Yep. Was there anything from Capcom we missed? Because we did.
No, that was it.
That was it.
Next year is gonna be nuts for Capcom. They got Onimusha 2. They got Resident Evil 9.
I'm looking forward to Onimusha.
And they have Pragmata.
Almost every year's been nuts for them. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
I wonder how they're. Yeah, it basically it feels like we're approaching the end of this like renaissance. In other words, like we had all this stuff in motion and cycles, and then you're like, but wait, once this is all out, so I wonder what is next, because it's gonna take a while for the next Resident Evil, a while for the next, Monster Hunter. I guess it would be another Resident Evil remake, and maybe like is Mega Man finally like almost back on the table?
I think the last Mega Man did bad. Like I think
it did, but like they could everything now that they do in touch, and then I was gonna say. It just escaped me.
2027 should be a Monster Hunter expansion, so.
That's true. They'll have, that'll be big.
What is the cadence on Resident Evil? Is it 2 remakes for every one new one?
Probably something like that.
I have no idea.
If you just look up, basically just when did Resident Evil 8 come out? Was it 2023?
Boy, it feels like it's been a bit.
But yeah, I was gonna say actually Devil May Cry as well. We don't have a new one in the pipeline on that we know of yet, right? So I guess they have so much that
they didn't even develop the last one in-house, right?
Well, there was DMC from so and so, and then I thought the one after that
was developed in-house. Okay,
I thought. Either way, I guess it'd probably be DMC is maybe one of the big ones too. But either way, it's not like they don't have stuff. I'm just like, man, they've just been banging.
They have been, man. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
The output has been prolific and high quality.
Yeah. It's hard to do. Good.
I still want to get back to that game that Watts, you played it. It was like that cross between like a action game and like a tower defense game with like the weird.
Kunitsugami?
Yeah. I still want to
Yeah, that's
to that one.
coming.
Oh yeah, Onimusha's next year too. God.
That is coming out on Switch. They also did a collector's edition for it as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I have it. I can go grab it real quick.
Switch or Switch 2?
Switch 2.
Okay.
So this is the collector's thing for Kunitsugami. It's the art with this game is what the thing is like really cool about it. So it's got like
that's pretty.
This is all engraved. And then they gave us so you have like these things that you have stands for, so you can create like a scene from the game with the different stuff. And then there's of course Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess.
How do you spell that?
Exactly as it sounds, Smile. Yeah.
Kunitsugami.
Kunitsugami.
I can't say it.
Kunitsugami.
Oh, I see. Kunitsugami. I'm a visual learner. Wait, this is on Switch 2?
It's coming to Switch 2, apparently.
I was like, what can I replace Mario Kart with?
Justify my purchase, please.
And find you some.
The Switch 2 has had such a weird launch, hasn't it? It's like
they launched with
on there. They launched with Mario Kart, but that's basically it for like first party stuff, and then all the third party stuff is like ports from other consoles. So there's usually like when a new Nintendo console launch, like Ubisoft will have like 24 new titles for the Wii U or whatever.
So that's the question. What's the best Nintendo console launch lineup?
Oh man,
of all time, is it the 64
launch lineup?
Probably the 64, but
64,
without looking at it.
No, I mean 64 was like Super Mario 64, and there was
all
almost
it
nothing
had, right?
else.
And like Cruising USA.
Well, how
that's
soon
a great
after?
game.
There was Pilot Wings, but I mean, again,
Well, Wave Runner.
Wave Race.
Wave Race. That's right. Yeah.
Was that a launch?
What year did
that wasn't launch?
Ocarina come out? Was
GameCube was nice. I bought a GameCube because they had the like photo backgrounds for Resident Evil. They had like photo backgrounds.
GameCube was such a good console.
I
loved the GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, GameCube actually had an interesting launch. I was trying to remember exactly the titles that it
was. Twin Snakes a launch title? The Metal Gear. Was it not?
That
ran
funny,
great on the GameCube.
Covered it,
I love that.
like, yeah, but honestly, like, GameCube had some interesting stuff, but like a lot of the good stuff came later.
Melee, right? Melee was the launch title.
Oh yeah, Melee was. Yeah.
Was it really?
That one was big. That was actually probably the big one.
I think that was the one, wasn't it?
But it was, again, that's one that, like, its launch window, it was not launch day. They had a lot of, like, third-party stuff, which at the time, you're like, wow, Madden's on the system already? Like, back then, that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I'd have to go look at the launch lineup. But Smash was in, as I recall, it was, like, December.
Mylin's selling his Switch, too. He's had enough of
Mario.
Yeah, and I want to
Nintendo nickel and diming everybody.
Was Metroid year 2 as well?
All that stuff came the next year.
Yeah, I thought so.
So, yeah, like there was Super Mario Sunshine, which came out, I think, in the summer the next year. And then I think Metroid was later that year. Wind Waker was farther in the future.
Yeah.
So it was more like
either way, it had
some
third-party
stuff and
titles for sure.
Eternal Darkness is a fond memory from folks too.
Was that a launch game?
I don't think so.
No. That was probably my favorite GameCube game.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now I'm going to look it up. Oh, yeah, that's right. It did have Luigi's Mansion. And, yeah, GameCube did. I knew that. Blue Storm and Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. Yeah, it was a solid launch title for Nintendo, you know?
I played an MMO this week as well.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, and you did? Yeah, you got to start. Yeah, we got to know about that. We got to talk about that.
Chrono Odyssey. You heard about it?
Oh, yeah. You've been telling us about it.
Did I? I hadn't played it last time, had I?
You
I
kept
would
saying
be
you were looking
interested to hear
forward to
your
it.
take on it because I've heard real mixed things.
Oh, there was a lot of drama. So I played it. It's an MMO, very typical like MMO, right? Those are the hub town, exploration, grind and craft, green, blues, purple gear, etc. I think a similar combat system to New World. You have classes and you have 3 weapons per class. So I went like the Berserker class, and I got some gameplay. I got my own gameplay I can put in the background. Look at that self promotion. The Berserker class had like basically Kratos's daggers on chains, twin axes, and like a big axe, and then you would have a skill tree that you could. Oh god, here we go. Now I'm getting the drama. Yeah, have a skill tree that you could use your perks, to level up and like mix and match. And it was actually quite good. So like, I give you a quick example of the combat for me. I would use my blades to build up a perk that gave me health regeneration because being a berserker, it actually like costs you health to use your abilities. So you like use your abilities, it costs you health, get your health back with like this perk, and then that perk then built into like more crit damage, and then I had like a big beefy like debuff mood on my like axes to debuff them and do damage. Like I actually really enjoyed the combat. I actually really enjoyed the exploration. It felt like it was an open world game more than an MMO. You know how like there's that rule with how often you need to have things in open world games, like players need to stumble across something every 30 seconds, every 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Definitely in the early areas of the map, it was like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's a vendor. Oh, that's a side quest. Oh, that's a waterfall. There's a guy naked stranded on the waterfall. I need to help him. Not a joke. And then like bounties and that kind of thing. The open world exploration I actually really, really liked. I thought it was pretty dense for an MMO. And I think the best thing for me is I didn't have to, like, I think I farmed like 2 rocks and 3 trees in like 15 hours of gameplay. You could kind of explore and get the gear, or you could get the money and you could buy it. So if you're not super into like the crafting elements of like MMOs or survival games, you could just go and do that. And then what you're seeing on screen at the moment is a dungeon. So then they have these like low people dungeons, like 3 to 5 people. This is a 3-person dungeon where multiple stages, multiple puzzles, big boss at the end that will drop you gear as well. The controversy and the huge issue with the game was the performance was utter trash. It was like, I mean, this dungeon's okay now. This is the best I would get, and it's like 30 frames a second. And when I was out in the open world, I'll be dipping down to like 12 frames a second sometimes, depending on who I was fighting. So
what GPU is this on?
What's that?
What GPU is this on?
This is a 2080 Ti, so this is just above recommended, which is a 2080.
Great
I think,
card.
all that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I haven't changed it, because it's been chugging along really well for so long. I'm scared to change stuff that's not broken. But that was really the thing. Like there was huge like graphical issues in open areas, like where it's almost looking like it's flicking from night to day, and like frame dips. And I think one of the things that they are trying to promote is that it's Dark Souls combat. Like that's one of their like taglines almost. I don't really think it is Dark Souls combat, but you have big bosses. You have more action combat than you would like a tab targeting MMO.
Yeah.
So, that's what I really enjoyed about it. But the thing is, if you go from playing this to go and play an Elden Ring, you feel like what would Tefty say? You're in the hall of like frames per second. It's like so stark with like how smooth Elden Ring is to compared to something like this. And that was where people were not review bombing it, but like going really hard in on it and saying like it's just this was not a good beta really, and it shouldn't have been put out yet. And it's apparently meant to release in Q4 2025, so this year. So if it releases in its current state, I think there would probably be an issue. That being said, it was meant to be an old beta. It's meant to be like everyone who played it early said they played it in February, and this is the same build. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the foundation there. I would consider this the complete opposite of Marathon. You know, Marathon was like uber polished, but like no soul. You're like, I don't know why this is fun. This was like, this is so fucking janky and broken, but I couldn't wait to like just play more of it, and I wanted to keep playing more of it. But I was like, God damn, I probably wouldn't. If this was the full game, I would also probably give up on it. Like it needs to really bump up how it's performing on your system, and then I think it's got a great foundation.
There you go.
Chrono Odyssey.
Chrono Odyssey.
Chrono Odyssey.
Should we talk about the Destiny stuff real quick?
Nah.
Because they had a stream, and I saw TV was on Twitter asking how people were feeling about it.
Oh.
So I'm curious, actually, what the community kind of sentiment was.
Did TV just groan? Did I hear that?
Well, because she mentioned my tweet, and I was like, that one took a hard left turn into Nowheresville. But
you tweeted something. Did you expect any other results?
I don't know. It's that
positivity and optimism. I doubt it.
Yeah, it's that Arrested Development. I don't know what I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, so they showed off Kepler, which is the new destination. They talked about the lore behind it. This group of humans that basically watched the collapse from a distance, but were not involved in it, essentially. And
yeah,
the existence, the existence of this dark matter energy and the way our guardians are going to interact with it. And I do think that is kind of cool that they're sort of exploring different motifs for their expansions.
Mm-hmm.
This one being kind of similar to like a Metroid style game where you're going to go back to places you've already been, but you've got a new ability now that's going to give you access to this new region that you couldn't access previously. Stuff like that. So it is pretty cool. They've got like the Matter Spark, which is sort of like the Samus Ball, right? To access different places. You've got the ability to manipulate the terrain a bit. And then there's also like
things together.
Yeah, then there's like a teleportation cannon that you're gonna relay and bounce it off of things to access different places too. All of that stuff looks pretty cool. So I like how that's probably gonna make Kepler feel like a really unique space thematically. So I got no qualms with that. Huge Armor 3.0 updates, like getting rid of the whole resilience is like for how long have we been like, I need tier 10 resilience, right? It's like the baseline for any end game content. Resilience is not going to be a thing anymore, you know? So their goal to dumb it all down, you could get into the weeds with it, but I think their goal, if you dumb it all down, was that if you really wanted to be the melee guy or be the grenade spamming guy, you know, you really have new avenues to pursue more specialized means of gameplay that might make you distinct from the other people in your party. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure, because it's like rewriting the laws of Destiny, right?
Yeah.
And so along those lines, you could also encounter some, balance issues, sandbox issues that maybe slip through QA, because obviously you only have a certain number of QA testers, and then you put it in the hands of a couple 100,000 players. It's a completely different story. So it'll be interesting to see what new issues arise too that they're going to have to take on with this new system. Other than that, they showed off the firing range quite a bit, which was cool. That's a feature that it's like, man, thanks for putting that in the game when I stopped being a content creator for Destiny.
Yeah, I use that several
how
years
many
ago.
weapon reviews have I done, in Destiny, where you have to like
review
you're doing
footage.
all the yeah, exactly. You're reviewing the footage frame by frame to see numbers and all that stuff. So
you still have to, but you had to like load into matches just to get there, or like private matches. But
that's right.
Jeez.
So, or you had to call, I had to like text, cool guy, can you get on right now? I need you to load in so I can shoot you in the head with this gun. Yeah.
But hey, we've got it now, regardless of what you're creating.
Regardless, and it does look really good. Like, no doubt.
It does look great. Yeah.
It looks great.
It's a fully fleshed out thing.
Yeah, it's not like we just threw this together. They clearly put some time into that.
Yeah, like jokes aside, it actually is really useful for active players of Destiny to be able to throw something on or change something and see if you get a different outcome without like even casually you'd be like, I want to put this on, but I'm like, I gotta like load into some lost sector and then the enemies are shooting at me. And then I'm like, so this like really streamlines the entire process.
Right.
Whether or not it has exactly the amount of depth and stuff that people want. But
Or
I think it's a great addition from the looks of it. And you can
you
load in
load
6
Guardians in? Or is
Yeah.
it
yeah,
just
you can go in with
enemies?
so you
You can
can
go with
go
full
in with
team.
Oh, you mean
No, I
like
mean like
to
to
test
shoot.
test
Yeah.
PvP damage?
Yeah.
I would assume you can, but I don't think they did in the footage specifically
Oh
that I
yeah, does it?
recall.
That's actually good.
Um,
Does it support a PvP sandbox test?
right.
Because it's different.
I will say it's
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
that
I
you
mean,
can do
yeah,
like a
yeah.
raid boss though. Like you can go in there with your full raid team and be like,
Yeah.
"Is this new concoction that we've got gonna work?" Before you go through a raid and make it to the boss,
Yeah.
you could just load into the firing range and be like, "Okay, so if you're running that, I'm running this. What's our damage output gonna look like?" Or if you're trying to low man stuff, let's test this out and see if we can really pull off the kind of damage numbers we want to put out. Stuff like that. So I think that's a really neat feature. I definitely want to call attention to that and give them credit where it's due. They also showed off the new heavy crossbow, which is, if you have not watched, it's a new weapon archetype in the game. It's technically going to be considered a bow for like bounties and perk interactions, but it is an actual crossbow that goes in the heavy slot. You fire this big heavy bolt, but the thing is, you could technically have unlimited ammo if you land that bolt. You can then go retrieve it, pull it out of the dead body or whatever, stick it back in. Right, and that does
that's
apply
cool.
to PvP as well. The thing of PvP, people would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna be busted." I mean, you have to land the headshot, and then you have to go and retrieve that bolt without dying. Right, so it's probably gonna be, I would say, a nothing burger if people are concerned about that being busted in PvP. I mean, we already have special weapons that one shot kill to the head too. So, whoop de doo. Anyways,
Yeah, this will
really
be the
cool to
least
see
of
it.
its problems.
Right. It's like I was a
There
PvP
will be
main for long
100
enough
other
to know that
issues.
you're worried about the wrong thing, man. And then also they show some of the new exotics. We got the warlocks had gauntlets that they look really cool. Like if you looked up close at the gauntlets for the warlock, they have like the bottom of a flamethrower almost has like this canister where the fuel is stored. So it's sort of like under the arm of the warlock, which looks really cool. But it modifies your Helion turret so that instead of just being this brainless thing that's just shooting fire at enemies, you can actually sort of point it and direct it, and it'll shoot up into the air and then split and fragment, so it covers a wider area, right? So more like chaff. So that's pretty cool. Titans get the Thor hammer, so you can throw the hammer, bonk, and then it has a really cool
Pull it back.
animation where they summon it back to their hand, and you can keep that loop going. Hunters had a thing that was kind of neat. It's like a yo-yo tangle thing going on, where if you created a tangle, their new gauntlets make it so that you could throw your rope dart at the tangle, and then yank the tangle to yourself, right? And then you could throw it, grapple to it. So it's sort of like out, back, out, back. So that was really cool to see. All in all, some neat features. I'm interested to see how the community is going to respond to it. There's been some chatter already online. I noticed Destin today was talking about it. He was basically saying,
I
"It looks
did see
interesting, but
that.
I just don't think there's anything Destiny's bringing to the table that's going to get me back in," was his take. And so it was interesting to sort of go through that thread and see who was responding, what their opinions and responses to the reveal event were. I think overall the community was somewhat underwhelmed by the reveal event as a whole, just because it only showed things that had already been shown by content creators, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, I
There's a
think
preview.
I think that was maybe a bad call on their side. I mean, probably great for content creators maybe, but what they showed on the stream was largely what content creators had shown earlier.
Mhm.
And they
Maybe
started
and
the
probably
stream
in more detail. So it might have
in
been
the
better if they waited for content creators to drop all of their stuff after this stream. It's like, okay, you got to have an overview of this stuff. Now here are some people showing you some more like details about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like pacing. I mean, yeah, it's all expectation, right? Like I noticed they started the stream like from a production side, right? I think they had their sizzle sort of mini Vidoc and all that up front. But then weren't they just in the shooting range for like, 20 minutes talking about
Yeah,
what's
basically.
coming?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's like, I get it. They're trying to be really casual about it, but yeah, I think the expectation was like, what? Okay, everybody wants to
Right.
see, and it's tough to deliver on that. And then they're saying, oh, we're going to show you more of the campaign next week because they're like just doing like casual live streams, almost like developer chats. But I think the expectation, I'm just saying, I think it's two problems. It's the expectation of what these streams are going to be, and it's that people are now realizing what we've been talking about a long time is like the teams are smaller. The games expansions, even though they're split in half, I mean, it's smaller. There's less. It even costs less money, right? So I think people are coming to grips with realizing all that, like in real time. And we kind of need to just get to a place where it's like, hey, it's out. Let it speak for itself.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, that was a thought I had during all of this, is like, they're not really able to do this with the Destiny community at this point, but it's almost like, look, the game is good, even for a medium-sized expansion or whatever, like, put it out and people will talk about it and be surprised by things. And Destiny's so far from those days. It's like, you got to tell everybody and get permission from your community up front. And like, I don't think they'll ever win that battle right now, is what I'm saying, shy of announcing a Destiny 3,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I think you're right about setting expectations. They probably could have been a little bit, they probably could have gotten ahead of the game a little bit by setting expectations before the stream, so people knew what to expect instead of thinking we're going to see a ton of brand new information. If they kind of maybe pitched it as developer commentary on some of the stuff that you've seen about Kepler, I think that would have gone over better, because that's really what it ended up being. And I do think there is value in that. It's one thing for a content creator to go spend a grand total of 8 hours in the studio, capture some footage, and come home and talk about it. It's another thing entirely for the person that worked for several months developing these features to talk about what the inspiration was, what the goals were, what their aspirations were, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there is value to that.
Some of it's just branding. Like you're saying, if they called it like our developer, like walkthrough hangout, like it could carry a different vibe. Like whatever. They're never gonna win that battle regardless, is what I'm saying. Like they're trying to be transparent. And I think people are still happy with some things, but like, meaning that's some of the ironies of like, well, we're being just hanging out, being transparent, want to show you more before it's out, and people are like upset.
I
Because it's
think
never
a
enough,
big thing was so the word that they use is, they were saying we're previewing Kepler. So when people think of previewing Kepler, they think we're going to like be on
Yeah.
the planet and we're going to be walking around and what are these things that are new that we're interacting with? And it was much more like a sandbox stream. It's like, let's
Yeah.
talk about how your sandbox is changing and kind of take you through some of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think the expectations were definitely
It
they said previewing the new Kepler destination and how your Guardian's arsenal of gear will evolve. The previewing the Kepler destination was, I kid you not, probably like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised.
And then the rest of it was sandbox in the training room. So
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying they did a great job with the
expectations.
marketing and all this. It's just that this is the problem. They're trying. I almost feel like they're trying to still maintain like the classic cycle of things, but like you
Yeah.
can't do that. This is what's happening. We saw it happening with the marathon stream. You can't just be like, oh no. I'm just gonna have a little stream and we'll talk it out. Like the expectations are still really high, and so
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. You're like, oh, the first Edge of Fate stream from them, we're gonna see a lot. And yeah, like I said, it's like they showed a mini Vidoc up front, but then you're just in the shooting range forever. I want to see Kepler and gameplay. And then they're like, now they're saying next week, July 1st, they have a stream. They're going to give you a glimpse of the campaign and like this stretching things out. It is a dangerous game to play in that sense.
You're right. It is dangerous. Like you said, expectations are high. I would argue expectations aren't the only thing. That high stakes are kind of high too. With Bungie's current situation, they really need to win players' loyalty, in some cases back. So you're right. I don't think you can just do willy-nilly streams like, oh, we're just going to do this casual thing. I think that there's a lot on the line when people have high expectations about what they're going to see and what's going to be delivered. Every bad stream you have is potentially a customer or dozens, hundreds, thousands of customers lost. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know about separating them all like across different streams, right? It's like, just have one big stream and have the really juicy stuff that you have to show in it. so people can come away going, wow, we got to see like some new campaign and how you can use these new things, and I got to use a really cool new weapon or see a new cool weapon. Just
Yeah. I my wish is more what I said. Like, I don't think most people would be happy with this. I'd be more than happy if they had done just the sort of preview with some creators, some early, a decent trailer telling you what's coming, and maybe they've even detailed some stuff in the twid. But then, honestly, it's like lights out, and we're launching, and we've got some surprises. We know we normally show more, but it's out, and we're just gonna all talk about it when it lands. They, I think, are sitting there thinking, how am I going to get you to pre-order this? And that is the problem, that it's driving all this. It's got to be, they have to do this. The team has to get out there and market it, so to speak. And I think, I don't know, it's just too bad is all I'm saying. I think if the game genuinely is surprising, and even some of these armor surprises, like, remember, when Destiny came out, of course it was a brand new game, but that surprise of like, oh, did you know this? And now there's so much of this, like, this is exactly what we're doing with the 10% change to resilience in the armor set or whatever.
Yeah, you know what? It's a good point, Fran, because in terms of marketing it, in terms of like people buying it, I feel like you want to show some of the more exciting stuff, right? Like Kepler and how you're going to be working in this like Metroidvania way. The people who want to know how their armor is changing are probably already going to buy the expansion. So why not have that act as more of a surprise when people get in there and they're like, oh, this has this on it.
It becomes a community puzzle sort of a thing to solve.
Thing. Well, in the community conversation, then people find it and they're like, oh, this is actually really cool. But we've just had information overload for the past couple months, I think, when it's more like, just show the fun stuff. So if people are kind of on the outside looking in, they can go, oh, that looks pretty cool. I think I'll play it. And yeah, the people who are like, there's a 10% nerf and buff to this and 1.2% of this, they're going to buy it anyway. You don't need to sell it to them. They're buying it
you're right.
anyway.
Yeah, because the dangerous part is, like, I'm hinting at it, but it's like you're trying to still kind of keep things going like the audience is used to, but things are changing. And we already know that they've been unhappy with even past years. And now you get a situation where you got less content. Even if there's some interesting ideas in there, it's like you're pretending like everything's almost the same, but meaning that negative feedback's coming regardless. And you're kind of signing them up for the pre-order. And like they have to, again, I think like the business is built around it, but like the danger is you do all that and now it just blows up in your face anyway, when the ideal is like, okay, you launch it and you just let the audience talk about it in real time. And they knew it was a bit of a change, and go from there.
Did you think that the devs were a little bit flat? Like, I generally got impression like these guys girls feel like they're overworked and a little bit low at the moment. Like, I don't know if I had same energy, or maybe that was me reading too much into it.
Vivian seemed pretty excited about
Vivian seemed high energy, but
you're not the only person that said that.
I have seen that. I have seen that across my timeline a couple times.
Yeah,
I don't think that's like I'm not trying to like calm down on them, but I'm kind of in the same line of thinking of like Fran is like, I think when the stakes are higher, like I do think it's probably, I think when the game's good, you can have more casual live streams, right? Because everyone wants to gobble up any knowledge you can give them. But I think when there's a lot more pressure on, like I think maybe that's when it's better to do the pre-recording and give more of that Bungie polish and do better at their advertising bread and butter than the casual dev live streams, especially if, Marathon just got delayed. Like, I don't know what the mood's like in the studio, how much pressure is. Like, feels rough to sometimes parade your devs back up there when there's been so much other external forces applying pressure. And then for them to be super high energy. We all know what that's like. Turning on a stream when you've had a bad day and like putting on a smile, like giving everyone super hype energy. Like, it's really hard to do. And if you're a dev, you don't do that every day. Like, it can be hard to put on a smile and like sell a product. And that's what they're there for, right? They're there to sell. So it's like, I think it was a bit hard.
And you have like coming off of just everything that's been going on, I think there's some fear of like saying the wrong thing. And so you kind of like, I'll just lock
I think there was
down
pressure too. It felt like there was a little bit of pressure there as well.
Yeah. But again, it could be anything, like coming from the production side. It's like, did they even have a rehearsal? Like, and it can be hard to get energy out of people, like you're saying, depending on who the person is. And like, that is not easy to do. That's why you have producers, and usually Even the lighting in the room.
One good MC can help with that too. You know, like
Yes.
you could, for example, what content drop was that? Do you guys remember when they had D Flawless come in and he was the MC? He sat down on that couch and he's just such a lovable dude that everyone else in the room can be fairly flat. But if he's keeping the conversation moving, he's getting the information and he's providing some, levity at the same time. That can go a long way.
Yeah, totally. I mean, again, that's like, man, putting on a live stream like that from a professional standpoint, there's so much that goes into it. And like, I was joking about the lighting, but I actually even, granted producer background, but I was like, what's up with DMG's lighting? And like, he was like, kind of, it's more moody.
No,
And
I
it
watched
just
a
gave it a
couple
weird tone.
reactions. I think everyone at the beginning was like, "Why is it so dark?"
Yeah.
I heard that comment. Everyone was like, "Oh, why
But
is it
that
dark?" It's kinda-
color tone actually sends, messages and like little things like that can affect you. I mean, in movies, they're doing it like intentionally, but like meaning you'll get a hint of like weird green when it's insanity. And like, obviously, we all know red can depict horror, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, those choices, you'd be surprised on it's something like a live stream, even what people are wearing, people read into things too much. So,
Sure.
In any event, I think it's all of the above that they needed to get out there and talk about it, but they couldn't talk about that much. You mixed up the crew, and now you're also coming off the marathon scandal, and this is their first kind of swing after the team has faced a major downsize, and that's like a lot to process. And you're like, so just go out there and show it off.
Exactly. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I was like, I feel like I don't know. It seems like there's a lot going on, and
the last thing I would say on it is we talked about it, but it's not as easy to do the live stuff like we're showing. If you can't just play the game and have sort of a good plan to show a bunch of stuff, it can be really tricky. And that's why I think a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just do the interviews and put together the B-roll and like produce it tightly like the video was up front. But that was like a 6-7 minute video or whatever it was. And I think that goes a long way. But I don't think they have the resources, maybe the budget to pull it off. And again, they're trying to like stretch everything out.
But it really was not that long ago that Bungie delivered a really banger product in the form of the final shape. And that's just like mind-boggling to me. You think about what we had so recently and where they are now. That's got to be a gut punch, I feel like. Because you made something really good and the community ate it up. Like, that DLC was pretty unanimously well received.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, it got a PvP junkie like me to spend like nearly 2 months straight only playing PvE. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I wish you could just see the budget, regardless of team size, because it comes down to like how much you have to work with, right? But it makes me wonder if, let's say, that was 200 million for Final Shape, like, is this 100 million? And that's probably the difference that we're seeing. It's just hard to understand what's going on, with reading between the lines.
Well, I wonder how many pre-orders they got just by putting the No Land Beyond on it.
True.
Right? Because wasn't that the pre-order for it?
Trick in the book.
Because everyone's been begging for No Land since literal day one of D2. So that felt like, I know what you're doing.
Well, I hope that it ends up being fun for people. Listen, they're doing a lot of like huge foundational systemic changes. So I hope it ends up hitting, because then they can start building all the fun stuff after they get the foundation real good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while it's just unrealistic to
I think it'll be a
of
while.
all of what we talked about. And it's like, no, this landed perfectly. But, I think through some good pain, they can continue to adapt what people want. And like, that's just how it's going to go. I wouldn't expect perfection and huge changes when Edge of Fate comes out. I kind of keep saying that, but
I know
not
how
that
to
I don't
fix
expect it to, huh?
I know how to fix it.
Oh, yeah.
Lay it on me.
Bloodborne collab.
Oh,
here we go.
You got me.
Fender collab.
Bloodborne collab will
Ibanez
fix
collab.
everything. Make Sony break the Bloodborne emergency.
Yeah. But again,
break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, let's hope the campaign stuff they show next week is kind of interesting. Again, I don't think it'll be like a bad game all around or something like that. I just think people's expectations are really high, and I'm happy to see them trying some new things and you got to break some eggs, and that's just where we're at with it,
Mm-hmm. Either way, I'm feeling very positive about the rest of 2025 as a whole when it comes to gaming. I know I've got a pretty full roster of games I'm looking forward to playing.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop. Even the summer is busy. This used to be the quiet month.
I know.
There's no quiet.
Got Grounded 2 next month.
Yeah. Wait, but before we move on, I did want to ask on the Destiny stuff. We didn't touch on it. I thought one of the biggest scandal things was like the armor balancing. Did you know much about this stuff, TV, or no?
I saw that there was chatter about it, but I didn't go into the weeds. Oh, the set bonuses. Okay.
But what I understand, and it's something for everybody to go out and have a conversation about, I guess. But like when you get, it has to do with the new armor and new armor set bonuses, and there's some new gear bonuses. So in other words, trying to get you to grind newer stuff for literally like more damage reduction and stuff. And I guess there was like a lot of feelings on that stuff. So that was a big thing, and we'll see, as we go forward. If
I mean, the game's got to move forward. Like, and this, I've been in this camp for a long time with D2. Like, D2's been around for a long time. Our vaults are full. You know, people will get mad if the new gear isn't meaningful. People will get mad if the new gear is too meaningful and invalidates the things they already have. People are just going to get mad. I'm just very much in the camp like forward. Forward is the way for Destiny. I have felt that way for a long time now. And all the people that are upset about sunsetting, it's not that I don't understand it and that I'm not sympathetic to it, but you have to fall off the log in one direction or the other. And I fall off the log saying, I think forward is Destiny's best path. It's not nostalgia. It's not retroactive. It's not keeping that same, as much as I love my 18 Kelvins that came out with the Warmind DLC and I still use it in PvP. I do not expect that gun to do any good in my PvE endgame encounters. Like, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Forward is where we need to go.
Yeah, they need to go forward. Yep.
So well said. Yeah, I'm glad I interrupted for that last piece because that's what I was wondering. Like, it's part of the deal. It's like if we want change, we're gonna have to start changing some things, and then people get pretty upset about it. But I guess part of it was like how much you may have to grind every 3 to 6 months. But like that's just Destiny anyway. So let's see.
If you weren't grinding for that, you'd be grinding for something else in Destiny if you're playing it anyways. That's what the game is at this point. It's a live service grinding game.
I think you nailed exactly what you said. Nailed it. Like you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. But the meaningful part is important, and like you kind of got to take some swings like this. So we'll see where they land.
I think so. Yeah, I think if clearly they want to keep trying to get people into Destiny and not just like, yeah, let's just throw all the nostalgia in it, try and get some dollars, and then let's just like call it. They're trying to do big changes to let the game, improve, find a new audience or bring back people. So it's the right choice. It might just be a bit of a bumpy road for a while, but I feel like that's Destiny all the time.
Uncharted waters are choppy. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 2025 has a lot of big stuff. Sorry, I interrupted.
That's Borderlands
Mecha Break's coming out July 1st. We need to get together and all play Mecha Break.
That community got so thirsty when they were showing off the character creation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They actually showed off new mechs, and I haven't watched the video yet.
Oh, really?
They showed off some new mechs.
Already new mechs?
Yeah.
Before the game comes out?
Yep.
I love it.
So it's gonna be fun. That was just a really fun game. I don't know how long I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it,
sure.
But I have not had that much fun in a PvP environment in like a very long time.
Yep.
Fighting mechs is just always cool.
Yeah, mechs
and
always cool
felt
fighting a mech.
Nicely balanced.
Yeah, intuitive. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, chat was talking about it too. Borderlands 4, and I know you're a big fan, TV. Are you caught up on?
Yeah, there was a lot of news.
Yeah,
a lot of news.
Is anybody caught up on everything?
I don't know if everything. I've been trying to consume as much as I can.
Give me the too long didn't read about Borderlands 4.
Let's show off a lot of new systems. They finally let people see things like action skills for some of the characters that hadn't been shown off yet. People got to get their hands on it at FanFest, and they talked about like thematically where they wanted to go. They did not think that the reception to their new take on humor in Borderlands 3 was well received. They wanted to kind of get back to what made 1 and 2 so great, was that they were so unapologetically dark in their humor, right? It really is. it's just slapstick dark humor all the time, pedal to the floor in that capacity with those first 2 games. Even Damien, who voiced Handsome Jack, I remember an interview back in the day that they did with him where they're like, man, what was it like to play Handsome Jack? What surprised you the most about the fans' reception to it? And the first thing he said was like, I could not believe the voice lines they made me record for this man, for this character. The things that I said, and I thought to myself, that's never going to make it into a video game. And then all of it made it into the video game. And he's like, I got to play the biggest dick on the planet, and it was so fun, you know. And so good. I do appreciate that they're kind of returning to that. I personally thought that the narrative, and I know a lot of people thought this way, I thought Borderlands 3's narrative was really weak and had some pretty gaping like there were some big holes in that plot line too. There's like, did something get cut here? Like,
I turned off the dialogue for big parts of that game. I was just like,
one of the things that bothered me. Well, I mean, in the whole like influencer duo, I just didn't think was a really compelling antagonist duo for the game either. But one of the things that always bothered me was as you're doing the campaign, there's a lot of voice lines where you're starting to detect this rift between Troy and his sister. And it sounds like that's going to come to a head. You know, they keep hinting at it, it amps up, and then nothing ever happens with it. It's like they created all this friction between the two, and then suddenly, oh, my brother died. That's kind of upsetting. Let's have another boss fight, you and me. And it really fell super flat. So I did not care for it. So that was really exciting to me, Myelin. Them talking about returning to a much more darker, humor theme, sort of a motif for the game narratively.
Do you reckon it still works in 2025, or do you reckon it was a time?
Oh yeah,
like it still does. Okay.
I go
and play Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, like you reckon I'll have a good time, and then
I honestly would just start with 2.
Yeah.
I would tell you just start with 2. Play 2.
Okay.
It's still looks good.
2 does everything that 1 did, but better, and adds in a much better narrative component as well. So there are some characters that you won't know, but like the characters weren't super well fleshed out in the first game anyways, so it's not like you're missing out on a ton of exposition.
Okay. I think you can fly through the first one though if you want, right? I don't know.
You could probably cook through just the story stuff alone, just to get sort of an understanding of the space.
But yeah, like 2 is where it all started to really come together.
Yeah, for sure.
How many years has it been since 3 launched?
Almost 5 or whatever.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's been that long?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm so
Didn't
old.
they have like a Tiny Tina or something like that?
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, yeah.
Yeah, they had Wonderlands.
Was that a DLC or was that like a standalone?
No, that's a spin-off.
Yeah, and I played that one. It was kind of fun, but honestly, the Tiny Tina DLC for Borderlands 2 was better. And it's a whole like Dungeons and Dragons themed DLC where Borderlands goes fantasy, and they crushed it. Like they knocked that DLC out of the park. So definitely recommend that too. So if you do get Borderlands 2, get all the DLCs with it, and I would definitely recommend playing because I think you can get them all, right? They just is that sale still going on? Like you could get everything in Borderlands 2 for relatively cheap.
On Steam?
I don't know if that's still a deal right now or not. I know that was at one point. But I got I rebought the whole collection on PC just because I had everything on console initially. But anyways, another thing, what was I gonna say? There was another part about Borderlands 4 I was gonna talk about, but I don't remember.
Maybe what you think. I was gonna say what's interesting about it is we were going in. People were still kind of curious about it. They didn't know about the tone, and they kind of were still holding back. And Randy was talking about maybe. We didn't say it was going to be $80, but that whole thing was kind of bringing down the conversation. The mini map radar was not there, and the community had tons of feedback. So you turn this corner with this trailer really for the story hype that had all the like movie slam sounds. And, like they did a really nice trailer, and suddenly like everybody's just so happy in the community.
Yay!
Which I mean it's really interesting to see the amount of hype. So they're really in the right spot.
And then they fixed the map.
They need to just somebody needs to just like realize Randy shouldn't be in front of a microphone or a camera. Or
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Keep that guy behind the scenes.
A foot should be in his mouth at all times.
Yeah.
Borderlands 2 game of the year, 78% off, 11 Australian dollar redos. I think it includes all the DLC.
That's a steal, man.
Yeah.
It's a steal.
Ooh,
definitely do it.
Okay.
I will say though, the one thing that they really knocked out of the park in 3 was the feel of the shooting. Like, it improved so much. I felt like.
Yeah, gunplay felt great,
Yeah.
and movement, sprint, slide, all that stuff. I did my first build that I actually made for Borderlands 3 was all about it all centered around like the ice sliding, where you could just go from like standing still to flying across the floor on your knees, and just like kneecapping people as you go by. That was so fun.
Did you play Zane?
No, I ended up being a Moe's main.
Oh,
but
nice.
I didn't play a ton of 3. Like I no-lifed 2 until my eyeballs bled. But 3 never caught me the same way.
The
story aside, 3's got some great stuff in it. It's still fun. It took a while to come around. They had to add a lot.
Yeah.
Is the overwhelmingly negative reviews on Borderlands 2 related to something Randy said? Because this is from like
probably. Yeah.
Probably.
beginning of the
Probably.
month.
Yeah.
6th of June.
Probably.
Oh
There
yeah,
were
where he
reviews,
said
fresh-
when people were talking about if
You'll find a
Borderlands
way to
4 is gonna
buy
be
it or something?
$80, yeah, he
people
was like,
bombed
real
too?
fans will find a way to
Real
buy
fans will find a
it.
way. Said millionaire white guy.
Apparently that's the terms of service changes. Okay,
Oh,
it's a new thing.
spyware, the ULA spyware. That's what people were
Oh my
spamming.
God.
I hate the current system for Steam reviews and how it gets everybody just starts spamming it. Like if they're unhappy with something tangentially related to the game, like it makes the Steam reviews basically utterly worthless.
Yeah.
I get it's gonna happen regardless, but yeah, it's funny. We talked with what is it, Tomas?
Yeah, that's right. We did with No Rest.
I was hoping he had a different view, but yeah, like I was like, please like create a system for like patch review / feedback and all this related like peripheral feedback, and like a review should be like an actual review recommendation. But people would still bomb it anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I wish Steam would push people towards it, because they do. It is amazing. Steam being a platform where you actually like, they could force you to play an hour of the game before you could leave a review, right? They could if they wanted. Instead, you can like filter by that. And that's normally what I do, by the way. Anytime you use Steam, you realize if you watch anyone who's played a game for more than actually, like, I'd say several hours, they're like, oh, this changes things. People who actually reviewed the game versus just left a comment after like 20 minutes. Or they watched somebody stream and left a comment. But yeah.
Death Stranding.
Oh my gosh.
Because 3 of
That
us
came out.
played Death Stranding. 2, the second one. It's officially out today if you didn't get the early access.
Oh, official.
It's officially out today. Yes, officially out today.
I got
24th
slammed
was
with
early access.
$140 price tag, the streaming tax
Baby.
on PlayStation.
Holy
Holy. But it's 120. The normal edition's $120 Australian.
For everything, it was $80 for deluxe for me.
Oh, that's not bad.
$80.
Huh?
$70
Why am I
regular
paying so
price?
much?
Because you're
Wow.
upside down.
Yeah, you're down under.
We have to like translate every graphic. We have to flip it upside down for you guys. It costs a lot of money.
to Australian English. Yeah, it's $80 for the deluxe edition.
It was $140 Australian dollars for the deluxe edition.
What is a normal game in Australian dollar dues?
A normal price game is $100.
Oh, well, that's
so
a big
$40
difference.
more.
Wow.
Australian.
And the normal price. The normal Death Stranding is $120, so that's $20 over what you would pay for a full price.
How much is Mario Kart on Switch too?
I think Mario Kart was 120.
120. So that's the new.
So it's the same as Mario Kart. It was the same price as Mario Kart.
It's $70 for the regular, $80 for deluxe.
Yep.
So
I'm looking at Mario Kart now. Now I'm fucking pissed off.
But
yeah, you paid you was 140, you said?
140 Australian, yeah.
That's $91.75 US dollars. So you paid like
91.
$11 more.
Wow.
Yep.
but it's similar to Mario Kart, though, right? So,
Well, they gotta send that digital edition so far across the ocean.
Yeah,
It costs a lot of money.
The bandwidth.
It takes place in
Everything.
Australia, so you should have a discount.
It does. I
Well,
thought it
maybe
took place
they'd
in
like
Mexico.
law. Maybe it's more
Both.
accurate. It's like the chiral network's not up yet, so it's like, okay,
The chiral
it's
network's not
140
up,
bucks
yeah.
now, and once people start
That's true.
completing the game, we'll put a discount on it.
That's what it is.
Death Stranding 2, yes, it's in Mexico and Australia. Don't worry about it. It's a story reason why you're in both.
I ran
Which I'm
over
sure makes
a
no
bilby.
sense, so I'm not gonna care.
I killed a bilby by accident.
I did not. You know what I
And
did
then
do? I drove. Oh no, I walked over one of the. There's these new little chiral monsters that look basically like a boo ghost, right? A cartoon character kind of boo ghost, but they're black and have shiny eyes, and they go on the ground. I stepped on one, which angered the whole horde,
And
they run very, very fast.
Yeah.
So I actually put a timefall shelter right near that area, and I see it pop up all the time that people are using it because in Death Stranding 2, timefall shelters keep BTs away. So people are just like running.
oh, give me.
They just run to the shelter. Yeah.
So how is
Yeah,
this
just to
game
confirm,
compared with
Mario
the
Kart
first
Worlds-
game?
Mario Kart World. Yeah.
Just confirming, yeah, Mario Kart World is $120 in Australia. So it was just, I paid, it was the same pricing as Nintendo for me.
Yeah, and to be clear, that's where it doesn't match over here. It's like Mario Kart's more expensive than Death Stranding 2 over here
Yeah.
by $10.
Yeah. Weird.
So how does this game compare to the first game? Like, is it a direct sequel? Are the systems the same? Have they done any quality of life stuff?
Yes, and yes.
Yes.
Yes to all of those. Direct sequel. It is still the same game, but so obviously we're all very early, and I've heard that I don't know anything about what happens later, but people keep hinting that things are nuts later on. So, but what this game does differently to Death Stranding 1 is you do they take you into action a lot faster. Like there's main missions that take you through like doing stealth, and I think they have improved the stealth. And they take you to fighting BTs very quickly. Whereas before it was a minute until I was actually like fighting something or going into camps and killing dudes. So this is much faster with that, and the quality of life of how they explain things is better. They've got a really cool thing which, in Final Fantasy 16 it was active time lore. Whereas in Death Stranding, you can pause the cutscene and bring up a little thing that explains what they're talking about. And it'll pop up like saying
helpful.
that they mentioned like BT, or they mentioned someone's name, or they mentioned like the chiral network, and you can bring it up and read about it. So if you're ever confused, like what was that again? You can read it.
What's the Amazon Lens feature thing called? What's it called? Amazon Prime.
I love that.
It's actually a pretty cool feature.
Yeah, that is great.
I really like that feature in all games, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially ones that can be confusing.
Frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Is the combat any better?
Combat.
Everything is just like
everything's
I haven't played
and...
hardly anything. I just think like you feel the quality upgrade in general.
You do feel the quality upgrade.
As someone who didn't play Death Stranding 1, like combat wise, I feel like it's like it knows what it wants to be. Like it's not meant to be like super like, because half the mechanics is you stumbling with a backpack. So it would be kind of weird if you could just like be really smooth in combat. So
right.
Yeah.
It does feel a little bit clunky, but it doesn't feel like out of place, and it's not bad enough to make you not want to do combat. And there's so much other stuff going on anyway. Like it's not a huge. If that's what all the game was, you probably have an issue with it, but it's not. And it's like it really does give you a bunch of tools to do whatever you want. Like if you just don't care, I just shoot everyone and just move on. Like if you want to do stealth, you can do stealth. If you want to snipe them, you can do sniping. If you want to just do a running, what's taught me running belly flop on them, I was just smoke bombing and just WWEing everyone and then kicking them in the head and run away. Like,
I love it.
Like but it looks so good. I think that's the thing. Is
oh my goodness,
maybe the combat like execution is not. I mean, you're not playing Elden Ring, right? You're not playing Night Rain, but it just looks cool. Like everything just is always highly polished.
Are you guys on the PlayStation Pro?
I'm not on the Pro.
Normal PlayStation.
No. I am. But on the combat, so what I would say is, how much have you played, Myelin, so far?
Probably like 15 hours.
Oh wow, so you played a decent amount. But I don't know how it is now, but to me in these games, like actually there's this kind of skill gap that to get good, and it's lessened here. In other words, in a good way, it's more it's more forgiving. But I feel you got to get good at where you're like, dude, I'm just gonna like drop everything. I know I'm going into stealth. I know how to handle.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
there's things you can do that are really cinematic and like you're saying, interesting or just goofy. And to me, it has that, but you kind of have to work on it.
Yeah,
It's really
true.
nice they have a
Yeah.
shooting range now and stuff too that you can like test
They
stuff
do,
out.
yeah.
Like,
So to me,
I
that
definitely
is
want a
really
mouse and
nice now.
keyboard. Like, I cannot aim with a controller at all.
I
I don't
hate
know
I
it
if
haven't
that's
too.
held a
that's
controller
a
in like a
me thing or
year.
not. Like, yeah,
No,
but it does have very heavy, like, point in the general direction, aim down sights, and it kind of locks onto enemies.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know if it did you say it does support it on PlayStation that you know of, or mouse keyboard?
what?
I
Oh
haven't
no, I
tried.
mean like when it comes to computer, when it comes to
It may,
Steam,
but
like
yeah, nobody's
yeah.
gonna hook that stuff up. Well, I would, but with the live stream and stuff, it's not realistic. But
I'll
yes,
tell
I
you.
would prefer to play it on PC.
I'll tell you about. So first of all, graphic wise, I'm on performance mode and it looks absolutely gorgeous and there's no stuttering. It's a lock 60. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's really great. Um, but the thing with Death Stranding that's really hard to get across because you watch it and you're like, nah, I don't really get it. And it's because,
It's hard.
but here's the opening thing, right? This is no spoilers at all, but you're on like a cliffside. When you're walking and you go over different materials and different surfaces, you feel it in the controller. You can
Yeah, the
feel
haptics.
every single
the
little
feedback
bit
thing.
of a difference in the terrain. And then it starts lightly raining, and you can also feel a very light pitter patter on the controller. And then you can, as it starts to rain more and it starts thundering, you feel all of that in the controller. And then you also have incredible audio design and incredible visuals.
Mm.
And then you're walking down this ridge and it pulls the camera back and this music starts playing. And that is what makes Death Stranding so incredible. It's the
Yep.
experience of how well polished and how well introduced things are to you and just
Immersive.
how immersive all of it is. And man, I'm really terrified of their horror game because let me tell you, when you're like walking through and like it like slows down the time and it goes doom, and then your little arm comes out and it goes beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
beep, beep, and then it's all dark, and then you see, and it starts going.
hold your breath.
You're like, something's nearby. I don't know what it is. It's pointing in the direction, and you see this giant thing stare at you and sprint towards you. It's terrifying. Like just
Yep.
their whole atmosphere, like the way that they create everything is so good. And
Yep.
the loop is so fun. Like, yeah, you're trying to figure out how to get on top of this cliff to pick up this package that's on top of a mountain to then go deliver it to the top of another cliff. And it's really fun to figure that out.
I just never thought this kind of game would be for me. And I ended up like
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 hours just driving backward and forwards, building roads.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
was just
got
like,
that
I need
aspect to it.
to build this road.
Yeah,
I need
there's
to
something
build this
cathartic
road. And
about
then
that.
like the contribute, I really, really love seeing other people's structures in your game. Is something
Yes.
special about that, and how it's still what I love about it is still lore accurate. Like you are still alone in this world. You very rarely see any actual humans. Always holographs. I see all the humans like underground, right? Like you're just seeing the top section of the world, and it's desolate. But then you have these moments of, I guess, Sam's and other parallel universes that are, sending you help really in the form of these structures that come through that you can use, and they're always like in such good locations, and that's why they have heaps of upvotes. And I also don't know why. Like I don't even know what likes do, but like I keep trying to find the best place for a structure to get likes. I'm like, oh, I want to put a bridge here. Like I don't know why. It just taps into
It's
that
incredible, right?
social media dopamine hit in a video game.
Right.
I want to be helpful for my community
You want to, I
somehow.
think that's what it is. I think because like you said, you don't know what the likes do, but I think it feels good. Like I built that timefall shelter there, and I know why they're using it because they're running away from the things trying to eat them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that feels look at them using all the time.
And then I was pissed off.
So good.
I wasn't getting the likes because I built this really good road, but the like podium was down the bottom, so no one was dipping in to like it. I was like, God damn it.
It does a really good job of like the atmosphere. You definitely feel like you are alone. This is a solitary experience, and I think that's why the community thing works even better, because you feel so alone, and then you see this, you're like, oh my god, thank God, there's something here, and you really feel connected to the people playing. I mean, they literally took what Dark Souls does, right? Dark Souls is the same thing where you're completely alone and you're like, dear God, this place is scary. What the hell is waiting for me around the corner? And then you read a really helpful message that tells you that there's an ambush to your left or something.
Here's the thing I don't know. I don't know exactly how these mechanics work. Like, how does it work out what to show you? Is it random? Is it like, if something starts getting likes, does it have some algorithm like, okay, this is popular,
Yeah,
this bridge,
it does have
people are liking it.
It does, yeah.
I don't think
we're
it
going to
guarantees
showcase
like
this bridge.
everything we'll see, but that is part of it, as I understand it. Like the more
If
likes
something,
something's getting,
Can
it will
you turn
eventually
it-
be more seen.
Yeah.
You can't turn it off or anything, can you? Or change it in any way?
Don't think so.
That's one
No.
thing I've
Because
wondered because
I did
Oh,
have
go
a
ahead.
thought. I was like, you know what would be really cool if this was just limited to my friends list. Like, it would be cool
That would
to
be
go
cool,
through and go,
yeah.
oh, like,
Oh,
what's
sure.
built
Oh,
that
apparently you
bridge? Or
can
like,
turn it off.
Fran.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
Apparently you
turn it
can
off,
turn it off.
right? Or turn it down.
I would,
'Cause
yeah,
yeah.
I would prefer, I don't want to turn it off because I think it's like a huge part of the game, but being able to see my friends' stuff would be great.
You know what's
Yeah, that's what I
funny
was
is
thinking.
the first
Yeah.
one didn't have seems, I mean, I've barely played. It was like a couple hours, so we'll see. But the first one I complained the opposite, where it did feel like I was mostly sort of seeing some friend stuff, and like it didn't feel like it went that far, where this feels like it's a wider experience, which is actually what I wanted in the first one. So yeah, I don't know if there's
Right.
some settings that you can sort of ensure it's like you and your friends, call it server, but like you're definitely hitting on something I know the community would love. Like imagine like server setups or server wipes, and like that would be a cool thing to add to this experience, because there's something about starting fresh. When I played early access, nothing was built. And when you
Yeah.
first connect the network, you see a few things, but I can only imagine now that I go back how that's changed. But like, I don't know how you get back to that feeling of like, well, this is the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
'Cause I don't
until
know
you
how
connect
it's
the
gonna
network, you get
feel.
that. But
Like, I loved it, but I could see a player that would feel like maybe they're missing certain experiences because the solution's already been built for them. Do you know? Especially with the 2-day early access. Like, there was one cinematic moment, I don't want to spoil it, but someone built like the struck, what's it called? The timefall umbrella.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, ha ha, like, fuck you. Like, you
Eh.
can't get me. Like, someone put it in like
The perfect spot.
like the jump scare spot, and you
Yep.
could just sit there. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'll give this a like. But I could also imagine someone be like, well,
that kind of ruins it for me.
I didn't get to choose that moment. Do you know? Like, maybe I wanted to have that be a chase scene, which I think it was meant to be a chase scene, but you could just stand there because they had already built this, they'd gone back and built the structure for you. So it's like,
Well, people are in chat saying you might be able to turn some of that down or off. So yeah, we'll have to look into that part.
Yeah, I guess you just turn it down. They'll turn it off.
It is it's one of the many fascinating things about Death Stranding 2. I remember that was a surprise to me, where I was like, yeah, there's something weird here with like, I want people to like my little ladder that I put up, and like it's such a weird feeling. And you're like, you feel almost dirty for like, yeah, you're trying to farm like likes on like a ladder placement.
Exactly.
And
I'm
it's
doing that
funny.
all the time.
You're like, okay, let me make sure that this is in a really good place, so this is actually really helpful for people. And then I saw one, oh my God, there was a side quest thing where there was something to pick up on the other side of this river, and someone put a ladder directly in front of the pickup, and I was like, you son of a bitch, that's a good placement.
Yeah. Every time I see something good, I'm like,
son of a bitch.
You got it. It's good.
And I'm always like, oh, I'm running out of juice. I better put down a charger. Then someone's got a charger. I'm like, oh, it's that good spot.
You son of a bitch, that's a good spot for you. Yeah, I can give you a like.
And that's like on top of everything, that social aspect, which is a big part of what he was going for. Like you can even leave stuff right in those little mule post boxes, and like you're finding somebody's gear that they're like helping you out by leaving stuff for you in this desolate world. It's really neat.
Very cool.
But very shortly, I just want to say I haven't played that much, but two things I would say about Death Stranding 2, and I love the first. I played on the hard difficulty, so it took me like 80 some hours. And like, I love experiential gameplay and like the feeling. And people are like, it's a walking simulator, man. I hate it. And like, if you don't like that gameplay, I get why, but it just feels and looks so cool. And the first was hitting on a lot of that. But Death Stranding 2 for me, one big thing I feel like is very different is it's instantly engaging. The opening cutscene makes way more sense. Even, if you just do the recap, like it's just tighter. And part of that is because they're building on something. But with what kind of mine was talking about it, you very quickly get in a cool mission and you can go through you're going through like, well, it would be a minor spoiler, but I won't even say it. You're going through a camp. And the point is now you can like pull out a gun, steal the boots, stealth it, shoot them, jump at them, melee them, and like it's way more forgiving, and it's meant to be that way. Where before, what I remember,
what was Death Stranding 2 1 like?
In the first one, what I remember is I went, or it took quite a while to get around the first camp, and I wanted to avoid it because I tried going in there. It was very punishing. The enemies like would wake up, and it just was very like kind of, I don't know, it was a little more hardcore stealthy, and you had to build on this stuff. And I feel like I didn't get a chance to do the combat as much. In other words, I was like, you know what? Like I was saying, it's a skill you have to develop, but now it's way more accessible and engaging. Not to say that it won't get more difficult. So I think that's the thing. Don't assume that it's like some stealth game. Just go in there. If you feel like punching someone in the back of the head, like have fun, it's better with that. And then the second thing I talk a lot about, how people perceive value, right, of 120 US dollars, or sorry, Australian dollars for a game, and whether or not that makes a game good. And I'm like, those are two separate things. Like what you're willing to pay for something. So all I can say about Death Stranding 2, and I'm kind of joking, but not, I would pay the $70 for that first 2 hours, especially the first like 20 minutes. The opening is so artful and high polish, like Watts was talking about it. The music, it has this interactive
it is really
ridge walk. It's insane. It's also like a movie credits opening that's sewn into this whole concept. It's so cool. But the music, of course,
really
like
cool.
the way they handle it, and the sound, and like actually the haptics, Watts, was a great call. I forgot that I wouldn't want to miss out on.
Legit incredible.
So it's really cool. Whether or not you like the whole experience, though, if you can afford it, I was just saying, like at least check that out.
Just
the first
it's one of those games, man, where you're just like, listen, I know that saying it's art, but like it's a game that you go, this is just so cool. Like even if you don't know what's going on, or you're not like, it's not your favorite genre or whatever, you're like, this, I'm just happy that I am experiencing this.
Yeah, it
feels. You gotta play the
and again,
one
like
to play the second one.
No, you don't have to.
I just watched like a 15-minute recap, and there's also a built-in recap in the start menu. I don't know how good that one is, but
it's good.
I haven't.
It actually doesn't
I
spoil
feel like
stuff.
there's a certain level of lostness that you're always going to happen in this like Kojima world. So it's like, I don't feel like I'm more lost than anyone else in following this storyline, and I feel like I've got enough of the basics to enjoy it. It's one of those things, like I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, this game is like something special. And then I tried to explain it to her, and I just couldn't. I was like, it made sense at the time when I was playing it, and it was the game was telling it to me. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll do that. And then I can't really repeat it to you. I need to play more.
There's a car, and there's a ha, and there's a beach, and there's the world, and there's dead, and then there's like these BTs, which means beach things. They're connected to the beaches. It's kind of like the realm of the dead. And then
we're like Limbo.
How are we traveling? Well, my ship is going inside of a tar pit, which is like the afterlife kind of, and it's transcending through the tar pit to travel to different places.
And then I'd be like, well, and then I spent 4 hours building a bridge, building a road.
Yeah, you sound crazy. Explaining it.
But it is confusing, but I would say you're almost better just watching a recap online with a couple of the better ones. Like 20 minutes,
I watched
you'll get a 1
hour 25 recap, which I'll be honest, it was incredible. It's by Suggestive Gaming. It's the whole timeline. It puts it in perfect order for you. And it like everything made so much sense. The way that it was organized was like, here's the important things for you to know who these characters are, what's happening. Highly recommend that one.
How long was it?
1 hour 25.
Oh, that's not too bad.
I just have it. I have it on when I'm like, I'll cook or clean, and just listening to it is fine.
But to the point, you can play the game by just reading the recap. It's actually you page through it. They did a good job of like you read stuff over a concept art kind of thing instead of it throwing a bunch of stuff at you. And they actually, I noticed, I was like, oh, they don't spoil a number of things, but you still kind of get what's going on. So it's actually good for that if you intend to even play the original again. So I think you'll be fine because again, it's so weird that like even for the first 90 minutes, like that all works fine. You're not lost.
Yeah.
With at least the start. I suspect after that it starts to get confusing for sure.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
great.
I think it's gonna fall into some game of the year camps in what little I've played. It's pretty banging.
Yep.
I just think, it's if you can get me building a road, like a genre that I don't even like and care to play and having fun in that, like you've got something going on with like the immersion and the world and wanting to be in it, and then the music. Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
All right, I think we should wrap this one up tonight.
Probably.
Yeah, we're a little
It's
overtime.
pretty late.
Yeah, we're late.
Late.
I think you guys
Sleepy,
convinced me
Vanguard.
to. I bounced off of the first game so hard. I think you guys convinced me to pick up the second one though, and just give it a shot.
Do it. Give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do that tomorrow. All right, guys, thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.